This is awesome. All right, we're going to get Kay in here, and then we'll get it going. Here, there you are. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alan. I'm a member organizer with the News Guild Communication Workers of America and a former advertising representative at the Portland Press Herald.
And I'm Kay. I am also a member organizer with the News Guild CWA. I am currently a reporter at the Portland Press Herald and formerly at the Franklin Journal, one of the main trusts for local news non-union papers until today.
Thank you, members of the media, the News Guild Communication Workers of America, soon to be News Guild members, union members across the state, family, and friends. We're here today working to make Maine Trust for Local News an even more powerful force for good in our entire coverage area. Our members are the backbone of this industry and deserve to be treated equally across the company.
Before we get started, Alan and I are your MCs for the day. I want to take a moment to talk about Pam Harnden, Farmington's longtime community journalist at the Franklin Journal, where she worked as an unrepresented employee. Pam passed away in June, and her stories only stopped publishing recently. Pam worked beyond her hours, took on responsibilities far beyond what was asked of her, and knew the fine details of this community. She knew that preserving local news was an integral part in helping local communities thrive. She was dedicated, even through so many obstacles, because she truly loved her communities, and in that dedication, her community trusted her.
Trust is what it's all about. Trust us to be the source of information you need. Trust us to dig deep beyond the headlines to what is really important. And trust the News Guild to work together to make our publications the best they can be.
You're going to hear a lot today about our demand for one big union. We will be hearing from longtime members of the News Guild of Maine, the unrepresented workers who have spent a year on this campaign, and community leaders who believe in our mission.
As Charles Bryan, head of the International Association of Machinists, said, the quality of employees will be directly proportional to the quality of life you maintain for them.
And with that, we'd like to turn it over to Megan Gray, president of the News Guild, Maine Local 31128 of Communication Workers of America, and a guild organizer on this campaign to talk about what we are demanding today.
Okay. I'm going to move the speakers over here so you have this great backdrop. Hey everybody, most of you know me, but my name is Megan. I am an arts and culture reporter here at the Portland Press Herald. I'm also the president of the News Guild of Maine. You're going to meet a lot of cool people today, and we all work at different publications. We work at the Portland Press Herald and the Lewiston Sun Journal, the Times Record, the Advertiser Democrat, the Rangeley Highlander, the Southern Maine newsletters. We live in different communities. We have different jobs. We work in news, in advertising. We are on the copy desk. We work on the business side of operations here at the Maine Trust for Local News. But we have two really important things in common. One, we care very deeply about the work we do. Two, we care very deeply about each other. The campaign that brings us here today, this effort to expand an existing long-established union at the News Guild of Maine, is born out of those two truths. So, what you need to know here today is that we believe in the Maine Trust for Local News. We believe in local journalism. We believe in each other. And we believe in our union. Thank you so much.
How's everybody feeling? All right. I know it's very exciting to see everybody all together for the first time. Let's all say it together. One big union!
One big union! One big union!
One big union!
Oh, my bad. Okay, now we're going to turn it over to Kendra Caruso. Kendra is a Sun Journal reporter who covers health and beyond to support our paper. Kendra has been a superstar member of the organizing committee through the whole campaign. She's going to talk to you all about how unionizing will help support staff at the Sun Journal, Western Maine Weeklies, Times Record, Southern Maine Weeklies, and all of the other unrepresented workers across this country. Come on up, Kendra!
Hi, everyone. I'm Kendra Caruso with the Sun Journal. So, the National Trust for Local News' mission is to save financially vulnerable local newspapers and help them gain financial footing through a nonprofit business model coupled with advertising and subscriptions. Its stated goal is to prevent news deserts across the nation. However, changes the company implemented early this year, including staff layoffs, have only increased the risk of more news deserts in Maine and decrease the amount of local news coming out of our newsrooms across the state. This is counter to their stated mission. It is resulting in more work being placed on all employees' shoulders, while the National Trust and Maine Trust continue to hire staff at the corporate level. The pace of hiring at the individual papers has not kept up with the number of people who have left our papers, leaving many of us overworked, burnt out, and unable to keep up with the production levels we had before the layoffs. Those of us who are not represented have little influence over the environment in which we work. That changes today. Today we demand equal pay, equal respect, and the same job securities that our represented colleagues have. As one company, one union, and under one contract, we will hold the company accountable to its stated mission. We hope the National Trust and the Maine Trust will do right by us and recognize our union demand. But if they do not, we'll go to a vote and we'll win.
Thank you. I'm just going to put this over here in case it helps with sound. It's a very big one. So. Okay. Thank you, Kendra. Before we move forward, I want to get another cheer going. We're going to start really soft and get louder and louder. So we're going to go build the guild. Ready? Build the guild. 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 Okay.
Next up is Paul Bagnell, a reporter from the Times Record who got his start in Maine at the Bangor Daily News. Paul was new to the Times Record when this campaign first began, but quickly dove in, wanting to make his paper the best it can be. Come on up, Paul.
Just make sure you speak loudly.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Bagnell, and I was hired as a reporter for the Times Record last year in May. Around that time of the paper's relaunch as a hyper-local publication, two other reporters were hired around the same time, and I'm the only surviving reporter from that era. It is my experience that insufficient pay and the perception that the Times Record is a stepping stone publication at this company contribute significantly to the low employee retention, and I don't want to be the next casualty in that. Lower pay drives talent away. We know for a fact that 4 former Times Record reporters have cited low pay as a reason for leaving, while others have moved on to the unionized Press Herald. I've been feeling it too at $18 an hour, and with the cost of living going up, my paycheck is already stretched to a breaking point. Make the Times Record a destination and not a stepping stone. Better pay and benefits will lead to more potential new hires wanting to stay on instead of moving on. A comment I heard about the Times Record was if I was going to last 6 months to a year at the newspaper. Readers do notice when reporters leave, and so having the incentive to pay will allow newer reporters to stay on longer rather than eyeing the door. Higher pay will also allow for Times Record reporters to integrate into the community for news tips and potential sources rather than lean on press releases. I am currently priced out of potential sources of information going out to events, restaurants, and cafes due to the cost of living, and it's still rising. It's also worth noting that my assigned coverage areas have changed since I began at the Times Record. Many of us enjoy the flexibility, but Metland has taken advantage of this for its own benefit and not necessarily employees. For example, I started out covering Bath and Topsom, and now I cover Bath and Freeport. So that's a significant shift away from a community I've already built up trust in, and also have to explain to my sources why I switched in the first place. So coverage areas and beach should not be shuffled away when it's convenient for management. I'm a strong believer that more equal pay and benefits will lead to the retention of staff, improve the quality of life for not only the Times Record employees, but for everyone in the community news division. Thank you very much.
Next up, we were hoping to hear from Dee Manier from Franklin County, but she is unable to make.
So instead, we're going to invite up Monica Speranza Cochran, another core organizer on the committee who works as a paginator at the Times Record. Since we don't have Dee's speech, Monica's going to talk on behalf of what she's witnessed with the Western Maine Weeklies throughout this campaign. Give it up for Kendra. Monica.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say a few words on behalf of the Western Maine Weeklies who couldn't make it in person today. I know Dee and Lisa specifically I have worked with before. I'm actually primarily work for the Times Record and Southern Maine Weeklies, but a cover for Lisa when she's on vacation. So I've had the privilege to see the Western Maine side of things. And I gotta tell you guys, they are very understaffed, but somehow they make it work so well. Dee is the reporter and the editor of the Rangeley Highlander. She's doing it all on her own, and she's doing an amazing job, and she really deserves the protections and benefits that being part of the union will bring. And Lisa McCann, oh man, she every week handles 3 papers on the page production side on her own, and when I cover for her, every time I say, I don't know how this woman does it, because it is a lot, and she does an amazing job, and she's cool as a cucumber while she's doing it. So I'm very excited to have the Western Maine Weeklies part of this campaign.
Great job, Monica. And I feel like you reflected what's going on at the Western Maine Weekly so well. I want to hear you all again. We got another cheer. When I say one company, you say one union. One company. One union. One company. One union. One company. One union. One company. One union. Woo!
Awesome. Next up, we have Sophie. Sophie's hiring was a parting gift from the Forecaster editor Amy Canfield before she retired. Sophie is a reporter for the Southern Maine Community News Division covering Falmouth, Cumberland, Yarmouth, and North Yarmouth. Take it away.
She previously wrote for multiple editions of the Forecaster before the print publications were put to rest. Sophie handled the transition from print to digital like a pro, learning new skills to apply to her new responsibilities. And on top of that, making time to help this build this union for the benefit of the Community News Division. Come on, Sophie. Make sure you speak up.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I just want to say also I'm so proud of everyone who has spoken into a mic or in an office today. We're so used to being on the other side of this that I think it's intimidating sometimes to get on the other side, but also a really good exercise in the work we do every day to be on the other side of things. So as was said, I work with the Community News Division, and as a young reporter, I often think about the future of journalism in Maine. On my team of community reporters, it's a majority of young adults. And I want my peers to have the support to stay in this work and grow in their craft as they continue to tell local stories that matter. As Paul said, it's often seen as a stepping stone, and I want it to be seen as a place people can grow and thrive. I want to see my peers and their talents thrive in Maine journalism. I also want veterans of these Maine newspapers who have sustained these papers for decades in a variety of roles to know they can remain in this industry, valued in their experience and secure in their work. I want my more experienced colleagues to feel they will be able to share their legacy of knowledge with all of us. I know we have a lot to learn. Whether newcomer or veteran, reporter or sales staff, every one of us deserves the benefits and protections of a union. We all deserve the chance to see a future in this work. As we stand here today asking to be voluntarily recognized as one union, I am feeling really hopeful about that future. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you, Sophie. I'm going to ask for any other speakers that are to come. Action petition that will encourage the Maine Trust to voluntarily recognize all of our employees at one big union. You can stay tuned for more information on that.
Next up is Hannah Kaufman, the chairperson of the Morning Sentinel unit with the News Guild of Maine. She's here to talk about why it's so important that we unite as one union under this company. Hannah.
Woo!
Hello, I'm Hannah. I'm the chairperson of Waterville's union, and in Waterville we have a smaller readership and a smaller group, but we have extremely loyal readers and an extremely hardworking staff. I want to talk a little bit about my experience. I came on recently as a health reporter, and I'm on a team with reporters at the Press-Herald and the Sun-Journal. And I think increasingly these people are not just anonymous reporters at other newsrooms. These are my peers. These are my coworkers. And as we work together, it's important that we are on even footing, that we value each other's work, that our work is stood up for. And another part of this, I think, we as people who work in news, so much of our work is how do we hold power to account? How do we hold lawmakers accountable, policemen, corporate leaders? And it's just important at the end of the day that our labor is also stood up for and that we have this group of people who want to fight for us. So I feel really lucky to be part of this union, and I'm really excited to grow that union. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. Your words really reflect how everyone across the company is feeling. And now to hear directly from our News Guild of Maine members. Ethan Horton, a reporter at the Kennebec Journal, will read the letter of support signed by a still growing list of 75 unionized employees.
Dear Stephanie, we, the unionized workers of the Portland Press-Herald, the Morning Sentinel in Waterville, and the Kennebec Journal in Augusta, stand with our colleagues who today announced their intention to join the News Guild of Maine. For years, we have been fractured, operating in silos despite our common ownership. Finally, we have united as one company. Now we need to be one union with one contract. The Maine Trust for Local News puts a spotlight on the issues that matter most to the people in our state. Under nonprofit ownership, we are building a business model that could be a roadmap to sustainability for local news organizations across the country. We are here because we are invested in that future, but we need you to invest in ours too. We want to ensure that our business model is built on livable wages for every person who works here. We want to address the pay disparity across our publications that costs us promising young journalists and talented veterans. We want to protect our unique publications and their loyal readers, and we want to find a way to collaborate across newsrooms and departments. We have a shared vision. Now we speak with a shared voice. We ask you to voluntarily recognize our co-workers as part of the News Guild of Maine. In solidarity, 75 union members.
Let's hear it again.
Woo!
One union, one voice.
What? Yeah, one voice.
Again.
One union, one voice.
Louder.
One union, one voice.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ethan. Listening to this letter reminds me of how our Maine Trust coworkers are standing in solidarity together. I have to say, like, we told the entire guild last Tuesday, and the way that this company, these union employees have rallied around us has been so marvelous, so spectacular. I think all of us feel so much more confident now that our unrepresented workers are going to get what they're asking for, that the whole union is going to get what they're asking for. So, yeah, Alan.
And we won't back down. Next up is State Representative Matthew Beck from South Portland, former staff organizer and business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's great to be here this morning, not only as a state representative from South Portland and a member of the legislature's Joint Standing Committee on Labor, but as a proud longtime subscriber of the Portland Press Herald and Maine Sunday Telegram. In a world that's filled with endless scrolling, it's easy to overlook the importance of local newspapers in our communities, but they are an important and essential part of our democracy, especially at the time when threats to our democracy can be found in everyday's headlines.
Matthew, can you hold your mic up a little? There we go.
Thank you. Local reporters, copy editors, and the many other professionals who work behind the scenes bring the stories of our friends and neighbors to life. They bring us critical information about the meetings, events, joyful celebrations, and heartbreaking challenges that make up the fabric of our communities. Beyond just informing us, local newspapers act as a critical watchdog, holding elected officials like me accountable, investigating issues that affect our health and safety, and ensuring transparency in state and local government. Without these important workers, who will ask the tough questions? The health of our democracy relies on the essential work these people do. We owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. We should treat these trained professionals with the respect they deserve, the respect that they have earned. Today, I'm calling on the Maine Trust for Local News to voluntarily recognize the one big union that these essential workers have indicated that they want and need. I ask management to recognize their union and take the next step to providing these workers with the wages and benefits they deserve by negotiating in good faith to reach a fair contract as soon as possible. These workers deserve nothing less. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew. So we got a last-minute submission for something that we all want you to hear. Monica is going to be reading on behalf of Bob Keys, a longtime veteran of the Portland Press Herald, who is no longer here but still stands with us in solidarity.
Bob did join us on Zoom earlier, but he had to run, so he sent me this to say on his behalf. Congratulations on bringing fairness to newspapers across Maine. I moved back to Maine in 2002 specifically because of the strength of the Guild and its promise of fair wages and work conditions. I moved from South Dakota, where unions have little power or standing. Just recently, several newspapers in South Dakota closed without notice, leaving many dozen journalists out of work without notice or pay, including our old friend Josh Linehan. That example is all the evidence we need to support the Guild now more than ever. Thank you, Bob Keys.
We are on to our last speaker, folks. One more time. Build the Guild! Build the Guild! Build the Guild! Build the Guild! Sorry.
To close our rally, we will hear from Andy O'Brien, the communications lead at the Maine AFL-CIO, formerly a state representative and the forming manager editor at the Free Press.
All right, thank you. Good morning, brothers and sisters and union siblings. Like I said, I represent the Maine AFL-CIO today, which is a federation of over 200 unions, including the News Guild, representing 42,000 working people and retirees in the state of Maine. Before I went to the dark side, which is unfortunately too often what happens to good reporters, is they go to the dark side. And when I was a reporter at the Free Press, it drove me nuts when those people would come and call me and tell me how to do my job from whatever corporation they were working for. What I found working at one of these weekly papers is people loved it. I mean, our papers would fly off the shelves. But the people who did the reporting and the production and the work behind it and the salespeople really struggled. We struggled with our health insurance. We struggled with our retirement. And we just did not have a say in the workplace. And we were owned by Reed Brower, who founded the paper. who also owned the Press Herald and several of these other papers before. And I used to think about what would happen if we all just joined together in one big union. We could advocate for better health care. We could advocate for wage parity. And having a union is also important for closing gender wage gaps and the pay disparities between rural and the urban areas. And so, I grew up in a newspaper household. My mom wrote for the Camden Herald. I spent my childhood in the newsroom, at least part of it. And I just have a profound appreciation for the work that you all do. And, there's just a lot of challenges that I know that you're all facing. The loss of journalism jobs, burnout, the sort of 24-hour news cycle, and all of that. And, having a union can really give yourselves a voice and to create a better work-life balance, and also promote journalistic integrity and editorial independence, and fight against cost-cutting. When I left the Free Press, right before I left, I had to hire a new reporter, and it was really challenging. We had some great applicants, but we could not give them the money that they wanted, and we were doing okay financially. And unfortunately, after I left, it got merged into a larger regional conglomerate. All of our articles that we wrote were taken offline. The archive wasn't there anymore. We couldn't find our work. And so I'm just so proud that all of you have decided to take this step and form a union. So I'm going to end with a little chant, and it goes like this. So I'm going to say, we've got the power. What kind of power? Union power. Who's got the power? What kind of power? Union power. Build the guild. Build the guild. Build the guild. Build the guild. All right, thank you.
All right. We actually, change of plans. We have one last speaker before we close out. Joe Lawler, the health reporter at the Portland Press Herald, felt very inspired to address you all.
Just very, very simply, $18 an hour is shameful. It's just shameful. We can do better. The fact that, we're going down the road of having one union means we will do better, but that really is a stark example of unionized versus non-unionized. That is shameful. We can do better.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, we're going to close out here. Some union jargon. We always say that we shouldn't thank each other for showing up and doing the work because this is everyone's campaign. But it's impossible to end this rally without highlighting all of the people that have helped see this year-long campaign to this moment. Still me. Zoe. Thank you. Thank you to our organizer at the News Guild of America, CWA. Thank you to our spectacular organizing committee who have been quickly learning about what it takes to become a collective and are here today fully realized, empowered organizers and advocates. We could not have done this without their work. Thank you.
Thank you to the News Guild of Maine, to all the workers at the Portland Press Herald, Kennebuck Journal, Morning Sentinel, and Maine Trust for Local News for rallying around this campaign as soon as we told you last week.
I want to speak directly to management, the managers and executives faced with a choice. We call on the Maine Trust for Local News and the National Trust for Local News to voluntarily recognize our demand to become one big union that represents all workers.
If you support our movement, please sign our petition urging the Maine Trust to meet this demand. Follow us on Instagram and all social media platforms, and continue to support us through this campaign in order to protect local news, protect workers, and help these newspapers become the best they can be.
Let's continue to build this guild! Shout out to everybody here!